Hello and welcome to Traditional Stitches Flosstube video number 28. Merry Christmas, Rose.
Merry Christmas, Janice.
I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and this is Rose Heck, our stitch along leader for our hat samplers.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening.
So this video is primarily about our brand new Hats Across the Sea exclusive sampler, Lucy Barber. So we're going to talk about all things Lucy Barber. But first of all, I just want to check in with you. Are you ready for Christmas?
More or less. I don't have a lot to do. So yeah.
Well, that's a good thing because right now we are in the middle of a deep freeze in Alberta. It's minus 33 degrees Celsius, and for those of you that speak Fahrenheit, I did the calculation, it's minus 27 degrees Fahrenheit. So
yes,
it's the weather where we start to worry about our well freezing.
Yes. Robert came home last evening from work, and he said he heard on the news that overnight it was supposed to hit minus 50 degrees Celsius with wind chill. And if anybody knows, the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit when you hit minus 40 is no different. So I think we hit probably minus 45 to 48. So,
all right,
terrible.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're ready for Christmas, and now you can just hibernate for the most part. Hey?
For the most part. Yeah, we're doing a lot.
Are you going to have lots of company?
Well, we're going to have all of the kids or most of the kids over Christmas Eve, and we're actually going to do pajamas and appies. So I don't have a lot of appies to do, to be honest with you. So it's going to leave time for visiting and chilling and drinking wine or hot wazzle or just having fun.
Okay, hot wazzle.
Hot wazzle, yes. I have a recipe for wazzle, and it's basically orange juice and apple juice and spices, and put it in the slow cooker and sip, and yeah, it's really good. It's yum. I've been making it for...
What's the booze?
You know, that's kind of funny because my kids came back from Hawaii and brought me a bottle of coconut rum, so I might have to try a shot in it.
I look forward to hearing how that is.
Yeah, I might, if I put too much in, I might not remember.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Lucy Barber. We're going to talk about Esther Blackwood because we're in the very final days for the stitch along for Esther. And then we're going to talk about some things that are happening in the shop, and we both have finishes to show. So yeah, this is a kind of a last minute video. Yes. Because UPS have been crazy. Yeah. Christmas rush. Yeah. So we didn't know that all of the pieces were going to come together. So when I got to the shop this morning, there was a shoebox sitting on the step that was full of our frippery. So this is the scissor fob or thread ring for our Lucy Barber sampler. So this was the missing piece of the puzzle. So now that she's here, we wanted to do our video. So, okay, so let's start with the sampler itself. So this is the chart for Lucy. You can see these birds, this whole line of birds here is kind of cool. I think this guy in the middle needs a name, but I haven't come up with one yet. He's kind of, I'm kind of a hawk or a predator or something. So maybe we'll come up with a good name for him. Okay. So in the book, there's a beautiful centerfold with full-size photo of sampler. So I'll just read you some of the information from the chart because I am just so excited about this sampler that I don't even actually know where to start. So Nicola writes, Lucy's colorful sampler has been reproduced with a palette of 15 colors of soie 100/3 and provided conversions for soie d'Alger and DMC. So I'm going to show you the silk threads here in a bit. This delightful sampler has been mainly executed with cross stitch over 2 and some satin stitches. Lucy squeezed in a few cross stitches that were 1 thread high and 2 threads wide. So that is going to, the 1 thread high by 2 threads wide is going to create some creative stitching for those of you who have chosen to do this sampler on Ada, but it's easy creativity. And if we get organized, we will definitely provide a graph. So the only item that is done that way is the S's that are in the verse. So we just have to graph a S once, and then it will be useful for all of the S's.
Okay.
Do you want to know what the verse says?
Sure.
So, Jesus, my all to heaven is gone. He whom I fix my hopes upon, his track I see and all pursue, the narrow way till him I view. Aged 11 years. So it's just a small verse, cross stitch over 2. So if the religious end of things didn't really necessarily tick your box, it would be really, really easy to put in another verse or choose motifs from the sampler that you can just fill the space with, for sure.
Those are both good ideas.
Yeah. The original sampler was stitched on wool on approximately 34 count linen. So many people have chosen our 36 count linen option, so that will end up being quite close to the size of the original. And so the model was stitched on tabby cat linen color wood smoke using 100/3. So then the other paragraph that I wanted to read you from the chart that Nicola wrote is, Lucy at the age of 11 years stitched a sampler that delights the eye. The young girl certainly had a wonderful sense for color and composition. A meandering border of strawberries surrounds some very pretty motifs. Lucy filled every inch of her linen, showing great diligence and industry. We suspect that her favorite color was red.
Yes, followed by pink.
Yeah.
I think.
And so these roses here have some satin stitch in them, and that's the only area of satin stitch. And then the rest is cross stitch over 2. So I am in between projects at the moment. So while I'm waiting for Lucy Barber Stitch Along to start, I've been working on the Anne Morrison sampler. I, like very many people, got bogged down in the eyelet section. So I'm diligently working my way through that, and I've been revisiting our Facebook group to see the stitch diagrams, and a couple of people had posted links to various videos, YouTube videos about how to do eyelets. So I've been revisiting that. But the thing that really struck me is that the Anne Morrison sampler was a good, achievable introductory sampler. And didn't we have a lot of people who were, Anne was her very first sampler?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, we had a lot. So now just, thinking about Lucy in the background of my mind while working on Anne, I really think that Lucy is an excellent segue from Anne. She's a little bit bigger, but she doesn't have any big challenging stitches, and she's just so beautiful. The colors are just gorgeous. So
I agree.
So I'm going to fill my time with Anne Morrison while I'm waiting for Lucy's Stitch Along to start. And before anybody asks, yes, Anne Morrison is out of print and no longer available, but sometimes you can find somebody who's willing to part with a copy of the chart in social media.
That's right. Yeah. On the secondary market, you'd be surprised. There are some Facebook groups that also, if you so want to try to find one, you can post your search. So,
but if you missed out on Anne Morrison and you're looking for a new special sampler, I suggest Lucy Barber.
Yes. And for anybody that's wondering whether they should buy it or not, don't wait. It will probably sell out really quickly. So
Lucy Barber Sampler is, like you say, a limited edition. It's an exclusive that is only available from our shop. It's not available on the Hands Across the Sea website. So I have provided the link to order below. And while we're talking about that, So the frippery that I showed earlier, this item, so it's got a ring. It's got the nice picture here of the motif from Lucy's sampler. And it's got little dangles. This little silver heart says made with love. And then just pretty, so pretty. So what we're doing with these is people who place advance orders for the 3 components of the kit, the chart, the linen, and the threads, will automatically get this as a gift for a limited time. So it's for advance orders, and probably we're going to cut off the advance orders by the end of December.
Okay.
So we'll announce then, and the option will no longer be available on our website as soon as we've reached our allotment of gifts.
Okay.
But because these are so beautiful, and because we understand that people absolutely want to get limited edition charts, but they maybe aren't interested in they want to check their stash on the threads, or they want to substitute linen. We have made these available for people to add on to their order separately as well. So yeah. All right, so let me see if I can show you the supplies. So this is the SWA 100/3 with the wood smoke linen. Those are all of the colors in them. I love this salmony pinky color.
Yeah.
That really draws my eye.
That is quite a punch of color.
Yeah, and this linen is just exactly the right shade for these colors. It just really makes them jump right out. They're going to just stand out beautifully on this wood smoke linen. That is pretty. Very pretty. So that's the 100/3, and that's the choice that you've made, right, Rose?
Correct. Yes.
I'm still dithering between 100/3 or the Soie d'Alger, because let me show you this. So these are the Soie d'Alger colors. Isn't that beautiful?
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So they really call to me also.
I had hummed and hawed for the longest time which way I was going to go, and I was measuring that, frames that I had in stash, and I realized that despite what I had chose, I still might have to cut down. And I thought, who am I kidding? Everyone tells me, where are you going to put that? Where are you going to put that? I thought, no, I better keep small. So that's why I chose the 46 count.
Yeah. I don't see a whole lot of available wall space behind you, so I can see why you made that decision.
Yeah, well, and every time I finish something and frame it, I always seem to find a spot for it. So yeah, I might have to just do some rearranging and put some older models downstairs and put the newer stuff and just keep on revitalizing it.
Okay, so a couple other details I wanted to say is that to give you a rough idea of the size of the design, 36 count, say for example, the design size is 15.22 by 17.61 inches. So not quite square, but roughly square. So we are kitting with 3-inch framing allowance, except for there is one fabric, I think it's the 28 count linen fabric, that's going to have a little bit scanter of a framing allowance, but we'll label that package of linen appropriately so that the people who get it know.
Good.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
So the shipping plan is we're going to be filling orders in date order, so oldest to newest, and I'm actually going to start billing them this week and processing the payments. We're going to pack them up so that we have a whole bunch of mail bins to go to the mail on the 2nd of January. And that way a whole bunch of the kits will hit the mail on exactly the same day, and then we'll just work our way through them as we can after that.
That sounds like a good plan, especially with the Christmas rush, things don't move too well.
Yeah, there's really no sense putting them in the mail system now. So we'll do that. So don't be surprised if you see an email, PayPal request, even a tracking email from us about your package. I'll follow that up with an email with the game plan so that you know exactly what to expect. And then we're still roughly aiming for a February 14th stitch along start date. And that just is going to really depend on the rate that we see people actually receiving the kits.
Yeah.
So when you get them, we want to see them on social media and we want to know that they're there. So, and then share all the information with the people that you know, because certainly we want as many people as possible to take advantage of the free gift offer, but also she is a limited edition chart and people should get it while they can.
Yeah, get it while it's hot, as they say.
And so also included in the chart, I forgot to say, is the card that has the thread colors on one side, and then the information that you can record about your stitching progress and process on this side. And Rose, you're going to show us an example later of one of these in use.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so now you are going to show us your stitch along layout, right?
Right.
So we're going to be running the stitch along again through our Facebook group, and it's the one that morphed from Ann Morrison to Esther Blackwood, and now it's going to go to Lucy Barber. Right. And so everybody who is a member is just going to automatically be rolled forward, and certainly anybody who wants to join the group is welcome to do so, even if they don't purchase the kit. It's just a great group.
It is, yeah. So, and I was looking up and down when you were showing me your photos of Lucy, and I was looking, because I have a printout here. So, and yes, we do have to figure out what the name, it almost reminds me of a black crow, but I have a couple of names in my head, but we'll see. Well, maybe we need to put that out on Facebook and see what different names we put. But
has Lucy got a squeaky toy?
Yes. Lucy. Speaking of Lucy, this is Lucy Barber in the 12-month layout. I'm just hoping you can see. I guess when I printed it off, I should have done those in black. But when I post it on the Facebook group, it'll be more apparent. So we're going to start in February in this top corner here. Okay. That's her. And in the next couple of weeks, probably after, well, when you switch over from Esther to Lucy, I'll probably post this. Let me grab that from her just a minute. This is the offender. She doesn't usually play with toys, but this one she loves. And it's kind of like the kid that when you can't pay attention to them, they're all of a sudden like bugging you. So,
well, and it's certainly too cool for her to be outside burning off her energy. So
yeah, I don't even take her out. It's I don't even put on booties or a coat. It's like no. She goes out to do her business and she's in lickety split. So I don't blame her.
So I should talk about the supply choices for the Lucy Barber Sampler. We have a lot. The threads are available in the Soie 100/3, the spools, the Soie d'Alger, the skeins, and we also have DMC conversion available. And then for fabric, are you ready for this list? We have 16 count Aida and 18 count Aida, 28 count linen, 32 count linen, 36 count linen, 46 count linen, and 56 count linen.
56.
Yeah. So all of those options are listed on our website, and it's just a matter of choosing the correct drop down when you check out with your order. And lots of choices, lots of combinations. So I cannot wait to see them starting to come together.
I would love to see whoever is choosing 56 count. I would love to see their progress.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, we didn't do Swasserfine for this kit. We did 100/3, and that was, you know, with the supply chain things and everything right now, that was a good enough challenge as it was. So the 100/3 is going to be really packed in there on the 56 count, I think. But, you know, I'm looking at the model on the cover, and it seems to me that I remember that Nicholas stitched this, and it is taller, like more tall than it is wide. So I'm wondering if it wasn't done on an uneven weave linen, the way, like even this motif here, like it is tall and elongated as opposed to kind of squarish. So
yeah,
so,
interesting.
yeah, fun, hey?
Yeah, yeah, it should be exciting.
Good. All right, so as we talk about getting ready to start our next stitch along, we are in the stages of wrapping up our current stitch along, which is the Esther Blackwood sampler. So people have until midnight Mountain Standard Time on December 26th to email me a photo of their Esther Blackwood sampler completed, along with their full name, and that will be enough information for me. I'm going to start in the next week replying to everybody who's sent me an email so that you know that I've got it. And then 27th, 28th, depending on what's going on, we will do a random draw prize for the antique sampler from Nicola's collection.
Exciting.
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah.
So speaking of Esther Blackwood, do you have something to show us?
I do. I just find it here. It's at my feet so it doesn't fall. So I completed her and I framed her after a few framing debacles, but there we are.
Wow.
So
that's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous color for that sampler.
Yeah. The original frame I had was an oak frame that I was going to stain into a walnut, but I just had some cutting problems, and so that got scrapped, and I dug back into my stash of frames and found this. So we were talking earlier about labels, and I just want to show you the label I have on the back. It does have my personal information, but I'm not too worried. So that's the label I put on the back. And
cool.
It's a really good way of, you know, keeping track of when you've done something, what you did it, and for posterity, for future, if it's an heirloom piece. And I attach them with clear corner things that I just bought off of Amazon, so that if I want to see what colors I had used in Esther, I can take it off, look, and tuck it back in. You can glue it on too.
Okay, so here is the one again for the Lucy Barber sampler.
Yeah.
With the fields that you can fill in and record your choices and everything. And then, like Rose was saying, on the other side is the thread list. So yeah, but it's great to see you use that, Rose. That's awesome.
Yeah. I've got quite a few samplers in here that I have to catch up and put stickers on the back and or labels or whatever type of thing. But anytime I finish a hat sampler, I always put it on right away. So it's really a convenient tool to use. So I encourage everyone to use it.
Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully people get busy and put their final stitches into the Esther Blackwood sampler so that they can enter the contest. We have sure seen a big increase in interest in this sampler in the last couple of weeks as we've seen the finishes getting posted online. So we still do have charts and supplies available. So just let us know if that's something that you want to order. It's on our website. And yeah, she was limited edition and only available from our shop as well. She was a much smaller print run because of her specificity to be Canadian sampler, but there we do still have some available, so there's plenty of time to order those.
So for anybody that's on the fence about whether to get Esther or not, if you are a collector of multi-world samplers, she would be a really good choice for a Canadian sampler. Just saying.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so then we'll do a quick video before the end of the year to announce the winner. And That'll be exciting. And then
Yeah.
we'll see you again after this video towards the end of January, when we're going to talk about update on the start date for Lucy Barber and some prep ideas that we have for Stitch Along at that time.
Right. Good.
Okay, good. So then we're going to talk about some things that are going on in the shop, and then we'll talk about other finishes, other stitching that we've been doing. So the Whitney Antiques catalog arrived in the shop this week, and look how thick it is.
It is thick, yeah.
And it's hefty. The girls were packing some of these to mail this morning when I was in the shop, and why is this box so heavy? Oh, it's got the catalog in it. So these are like heavy, good pages to thumb through and look at all of these images of the samplers.
And I hear that one of Nicola's samplers, original samplers, is in there, antique samplers.
Yes. So what I've heard is that Whitney borrowed some samplers from a variety of people's personal collections to have in their exhibits. So yeah, there's a few in there. And then the odd one that they've got for sale too, if
okay.
So the catalog is entitled "I Write the Needle's Praise: A Century of Sampler Making, 1630s to 1730s" from Whitney Antiques. Yep. We've got a limited number of these in stock and ready to go in the shop.
Cool.
The Christmas shipping deadline has passed because today is the 20th, but IOUs or anything like that, if that's your inclination, we definitely have those available.
Cool.
I have a couple of hand-dyed linens that have just arrived that I want to show off. The link to the special section on our website that shows in-stock hand-dyed linens is linked below, and I did update that this morning for hand-dyed linens that we have at least a yard of in stock. So for people who are looking for getting started right away, that is a great place to start. We've got lots more than that in stock, but at least you know that those ones for sure we've got. So this, we've got some new R&Rs that, not new colors of R&R, but newly arrived stock. This is Barb's Blend. It's gray. Hopefully that's showing. And one of the only R&R grays that is currently available. The company that they use for their dyes changed the formula, and they just can't get good grays other than this one. So if you've been looking for a hand-dyed linen that is a gray, this is an excellent choice. And we currently have it in stock in 32, 36, and 40. This happens to be the 36, and this is the 40, so very similar.
Okay.
The other one that we just recently got into stock again is the 36 count R&R Patriots Brew. And so this is the Plum Street Samplers Cardinal Kin design. This is one of the colors that it is optional on. And actually, I'm just going to pause the video because I've stitched that and I have it close at hand. So I'm just going to grab it to show. Hang on a second. So this is the Plum Street Samplers Cardinal Kin in the darker color version as opposed to the brighter color version.
Okay.
And I stitched mine on 36 count R&R Winter Brew, which we also have in stock. And then the other version is stitched on Patriots Brew, which I just showed, but there's not much difference in the colors.
They're getting a little bit washed out, but I can see the Cardinal Kin. It's a little more of a yellowish.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. This is more of a naturally kind of a color.
Okay.
So that was a finish. Now I have to actually fully finish it. So.
Yeah. I'm hoping that she does something with either blue jays or robins. Something that I'm hoping.
Well, she might be open to ideas, so yeah. Well, so have a look at the list of in-stock hand-dyed linens, which kind of brings me to the next point. Our hours for the holiday season. So the way that the holidays land and the stat holidays land, the only day that we're going to be closed extra in the next couple of weeks is Boxing Day, which is December 26th. So we won't be answering emails or shipping or anything that day, but otherwise everybody's keeping to their normal schedules. So
Okay.
that's the plan for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and then before we know it, it's going to be the start of the new year, 2023. Yeah. Okay, so that's a great opportunity to talk about. Did you decide on a New Year's Day project?
I think so. And I think I left it downstairs.
Oh.
But I think I'm going to go with what I had said before and Miss Marianne Bournes. There's a few others I could, but I think she deserves a start.
Was she the first Hands Across the Sea sampler chart, or definitely in the very early days?
You know, she was the very first one I bought. But if you talk to Nicola, I think Susanna Milne was her first one that she actually reproduced, but she hadn't printed. So I think Miss Marianne Bournes was the very first print. So depending on who you talk to, but I have done Susanna Milne. She's behind my shoulder. So I think Miss Marianne Bournes needs to be done. I'm a little bit OCD about trying, if I have something that's kitted up for a few years, I'd like to get to her before something that has just come out. Even though, you know, the shiny new thing is always appealing. And that's a real tough thing to fight. But I think Miss Marianne Bournes deserves to at least get a few stitches in. So
I heard a rumor that you're coming to the shop tomorrow. So
yeah.
Maybe you'll find something that catches your eye too. But I do know we're going to send you home with your Lucy Barber kit tomorrow. So then you'll be able to post photos and everything, but nobody get too worried about it because Rose is our stitch along leader. So she gets things first and she won't start until we pin down our stitch along start date. So
no, exactly. The most I will do is serge it and put it in my project bag.
Yeah, well, good. Exciting. And do you have some other finishes to show us? I mean, Esther Blackwood was a pretty great accomplishment.
Yeah, actually, I have one that I haven't stretched her yet, but you're going to laugh because she's kind of sitting in the frame, and it's Frances Eden from Handwork Samplers. So let me go grab it.
Okay.
And I had, before I show her, the one thing I think we may have talked about, or Nicola, is when you get a piece of linen, doing a bit of a swatch check to see whether it is true. So in this case, 40 count, doing a few stitches along the side and across the top, and then measure it. And when I picked out, or I didn't pick out this frame picked me kind of type of thing, it fit quite well in this, but the, I'm not sure if it's the warp or the weft, the crossways is a little bit tighter. So I've got a little bit more margin on the both sides than on the top. Am I going to look for a different frame? Probably not, being that I do my own framing and yeah. So without further ado, and she isn't, like I said, she's not stretched yet. So you'll see rumples and bumples, but that's what she will look like.
Oh my goodness.
So,
oh wow, Rose.
So yeah. So you can see I've got a little bit extra here and on this other side. And I thought, gee, I was so sure that this was an exact, it was perfect. I got to put it down. And so when I started measuring, I went, okay, I guess it doesn't quite. Do I go to plan B? And I thought, oh man, this frame, I can't cut it down. And I can't, you know, I thought, no, let's just not be that worried about it. So I will go ahead and I haven't really had the time to stretch her because I've been, my daughter on the weekend says, Mom, one of, I won't name my grandkids' names, but my oldest son is missing his one ornament, this one. No, actually, before she said that, she had said their young dog got one of the sled ornaments of her daughter. Could I stitch that again? I said, oh, okay. I think she has the sled itself, I hope. Otherwise, I might be picking up another sled tomorrow or taking mine apart. And then she says, oh, by the way, my oldest son is missing his one ornament. Is there any chance you could stitch it? And her husband says, well, why don't you stitch it to my daughter? And I shook my head and I said, Sarah, you probably won't get it done until next year. She says, yeah, you're right. So Sunday I sat down and last evening or yesterday afternoon I finished. And of course this needs a sled. So this is a little Brooks book. So I need the sled for him and I'm just finishing. No, that's not Brooks books. This is Lizzie Kate, pardon me. This is Brooks books. So I'm just finishing up. So I finished that and that's the one for my grandson. So been doing that too. So, and what else do I have for finishes? I've had a few finishes. I finished Winter Rose Manor and she is framed in on the wall.
Oh.
And I can't remember what else. So yeah, if you check my Instagram, you'll see at Rose Heck, you'll see my finishes because I cannot recall what I all finished.
The month has been a blur, hey?
Yeah, it has been. Well, I guess mini bouquet sampler Sal, that one I did finish.
Right.
And then Esther. So yeah, no, 4. Yeah, you're right.
Good job.
Yeah. So, but you know, when you do stitch alongs and they all start at the beginning of the year, they tend to culminate at the end of the year and, you know, they all get done at the same time. So you feel very accomplished.
Oh, good.
So.
And then you get to pick what's going to follow.
Exactly. So there's kind of that lull where you kind of go, oh, I have no finishes. And it's sometimes hard to get going, but I have a couple of whips that I'm working on. So yeah. And what about you? I know you're working on Anne and you've finished.
I picked up a couple pieces from the framer this week, so I could show those off. This one is the Sarah Jackson sampler from Scarlet House. Got some reflection there, but I normally don't pick this bright of a frame, but it really popped out some of the colors and stitching when we put the corner there. So I'm really happy with that, how that turned out. I'm excited to get this one on the wall.
Yeah, I've always liked that one.
There's something about the contrast between the bright colors on the darker linen, and that just really appeals to me. So
yeah. So pretty.
Thank you.
Kind of a tiger wood frame.
Yeah, burly kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then I got the pub back from the framer. So I'm gonna have to slide back to get it all in.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with how it
magnificent.
turned out.
Yeah.
So I framed it right up to the edge of the stitching, which was my whole long. So
you would have to. I don't think I've ever seen it framed with the linen showing. It's more of a tapestry or a needlepoint idea. And I don't think you'd want that showing.
Well, and certainly it's large enough.
Oh, yeah. When I was at the shop before you had it framed, it just stretched, it didn't seem that big, but you add, 4 inches total of frame, and I'm assuming 2 inches each side approximately. And all of a sudden you have a showpiece. It's a showstopper. Wow. And as Nicola would say, it's a Bobby Dazzler.
So Now I have to find space on the walls in the shop to put this up, but it will be there tomorrow when you come to visit, so you can see it in person.
I have a space for it. Kidding.
You do not.
Oh well. Anyway, I'll have my own one of these days. So
Yep, definitely. Sounds good. So other than that, I think we've got a really quiet Christmas planned. So hopefully just some good cooking and a little bit of visiting, and a couple bottles of wine would be good.
Yeah.
But we're keeping really busy in the shop. It kind of lulls a little bit for orders and stuff, but we're kitting Lucy Barber like crazy. The girls are putting thread packs together and cutting linen today. And so we're going to start processing those orders, and that's going to keep us perfectly busy and ready for the new year.
I'm excited to see mine tomorrow because I haven't seen the chart. I haven't seen the linen, the floss, other than what you have shown, but the actual, getting to feel and the tactile and all that and see. And I'm really interested in seeing the linen, because when I see the photo and when I see you holding it, it's still not the same as actually getting to hold it. And
Well, this is the wood smoke. This is a piece of 36 count. And when we were looking for linens for this sampler, admittedly, the hand-dyed linen from Tabby Cat is at the higher range of the price point. And so we know that that's a little bit challenging for some people. So we were looking for other fabrics that maybe weren't hand-dyed, or legacy linen or something like that, that was a similar color and did the same thing for the thread colors as this did. And there simply is nothing out there that does it. So that's,
you bring up an interesting point about how linen can affect the thread color. And I'm working on Smith Sampler right now. And for those that know it, it's Scarlet House. It's a reproduction sampler. And I'm working on a piece of, it's a Lakeside. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It doesn't matter. But when I look at the silk floss, and then when I stitch it, it changes it. So I may have a really green floss, but when I stitch it on there, it looks more blue. So people are always surprised that they look at floss and then they look at the linen and they go, oh, but it looks really different when I see the finished product. And that's because depending on the linen, it can really change a floss color. So keep that in mind if you're ever wanting to change your linen color, that it may affect the finished look, because that reflection, and I think a floss tuber mentioned that, and I can't think who it was, but how that may affect. So it's going to be interesting to see. And every time I hear wood smoke, I have this, and I think that's why I really need to see the linen. I think Lakeside linen, and that's a much darker. So when you first brought up wood smoke, I went, oh, but that doesn't look like wood smoke. So, so I'm excited.
It's just beautiful. And we've got mounds of it that in the shop to look at. So cutting through it all. So, and that is something that I really have to mention on a project like this. Our suppliers just go over and above. So Nicola, first of all, for sharing this chart with us and trusting us to have her exclusive of such an amazing sampler. And then Access Commodities, Lamora, you ask her for silk and she says, and then she always comes through. So that's awesome. And then Tabby Cat, of course, with the linen, that's just been a great process. And then Minnie McBean is the manufacturer, the hand maker, craft artisan for our frippery. So this came from Minnie McBean's frippery. So we're very lucky.
And in many cases, the purveyors of all these pieces are singular. you know, I don't know in case of access commodities, but they, you know, a lot of times there's not a team behind, that they might be the single person that is having to get these ready and get them out and ship them, and all the little things that come. And I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. So I really appreciate where everyone comes to make this all come together.
And certainly in order to pull off what they do, they must have little elves that work through the night to do such a great job. So yeah, we're grateful, very grateful. So I think that was it from my list of things to talk about.
I have no more.
No? Okay. All right. So I will see you tomorrow. But I did want to say to everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. However you celebrate the time of year that it is, we hope that it's surrounded by friends and family and good food and some sanity of your stitching time. I hope you find that in the next couple of weeks. I know it's high on my priority list. So.
And I concur with that sentiment.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time, Rose.
Thank you, Janice.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.